Today is the second day of November 2014, and I'm greatly honored to have with us today Coomi from Bombay. Greetings, Coomi. Namaskar. When did you first hear of Sri Aurobindo or Mother?
I went to learn yoga with Dhan Palkhiwala. And very soon after that, she said that we have a meditation every Saturday at my house, and if you're interested, come along. And this was sometime in 91. So I went for the meditation, and that was the first time I saw Mother and Sri Aurobindo's photographs, and he switched off the lights and had this meditation. And it appealed to me very much. I was drawn to it, and I went regularly. Now she has told everybody in the class that I have meditation, but very few people get into it. It's only, I suppose, when a call comes to us, we go there. So that's how I started reading about little books and things from Dhan. And that was my introduction to Mother and Sri Aurobindo.
And how many times have you been to the ashram?
I can't count, I don't know.
So many?
Yes.
I see.
I'll tell you another thing what brought me here to Pondicherry for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
My husband's a jeweler. And a jeweler who was staying in Pondicherry, Kokila Ben and her husband.
I know Kokila.
Yeah, and her husband, Vasanbai. Vasanbai and my husband knew each other. And Vasanbai had come to my husband to ask him whether he would gold plate the stand of the Matru Mandir, Sri Aurobindo's symbol. And he brought the jewelry of all the ashramites who had donated jewelry for that purpose.
Gold.
Gold.
Yes.
Mangal sutras,
Yes.
bangles, rings. People
Yes.
had donated
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And my husband was dealing with a German firm who was, their gold plating was superb in the world. So he was an agent for them. And he said, this is all a mixture of gold. Some is 18, some is 25, some is 14.
Mm-hmm.
This will not make a good plating for the stand. So he says, you can use this money for this gold to do the next thing. Then came the very interesting part where the stand was cast in brass, and it was sent to my husband to gold plate. And he found a lot of little holes in it, in the casting. So he says, this is dangerous for a big crystal to stand on a thing which has got holes in it.
Oh.
So from Auroville, they sent John Harper. They sent him to my husband's office. He sat there in his office for 3 months, filling the hole. Patiently, lovingly for mother's work. Beautiful, beautiful man, lovely
Yes.
man. And if he did 10, he found 50 around it. And this went on for 3 months.
How did he fill it?
Sorry?
How did he fill it?
I
Did
really
he
don't know that.
Some kind of...
Yeah, I don't know that part. With what he filled, I don't know. My husband would answer you that. But this went on for 3 months. And he did not lose patience. This is mother's work. I've been given mother's work and I'm here. And at the end of 3 months, Nariman said, my husband, John, please tell them that you are taking a great risk, because metal has what is called?
Yes.
Metal fatigue. There's
Fatigue.
metal fatigue.
Metal fatigue, yes.
And if it's not solidly done, it will just cave in like this. the four symbols will just cave in like this, and the sphere will be shattered. The crystal would be shattered. Then a man from Aurobindo came, and at last he acknowledged that yes, we would have to do it differently. Then my husband told them to cast it again in a particular way and send that symbol to Degussa in Germany. Degussa was the firm that was specialist in gold plating. And my husband didn't have these big baths for something. His jewelry things were so small for plating. He didn't have these big vessels, containers to do it. He says, I'll send it to Degussa and Degussa will do it for you. And that's what was finally done. So, Himmat Singh Kaji.
Yes, my good friend.
Yeah. So, Vasant Bhai told us to come here. We stayed at Himmat Singh Kaji's place, his guest house.
Yes.
He took us to Aurobindo. He showed us the symbol, the whole thing. We spent 2 days here, and all these things were finally decided. That's when he and I both came here. And very luckily, my birthday was also in that time. And that was my first visit here. And they said, you know, if it's your birthday, you can go to Sri Aurobindo's room. And I said, wonderful, I want to go. And that was a lovely, lovely first introduction to Pondicherry. Met Mr. Himpat. We went there to Aurobindo. We spent a lovely day there. And that's my first visit to Pondicherry. After that, I've come alone many, many, many times. And sometimes, mostly in groups. But twice I came totally alone. And I stayed once at Golcorn and once at Seaside Guest House. And I wanted to experience just being alone. And it was beautiful, beautiful. But I also enjoy the company of the people who come with me. It's just that I don't want ceaseless chatter, pointless talking.
Well, it was a blessing for me to have you in the Om choir the other night.
This time the 3 people with me are all my singers.
I see.
Yeah, they're
because
all
I heard wonderful voices, and I don't look at people, my eyes are closed, but I could just hear this celestial sound.
But that Om, it was beautiful. That experience was beautiful. All of us felt it. All of us felt it. The vibes, it was charged, completely charged. It was very beautiful.
Tell me then, because you have recited so many lines of Savitri today, how did Savitri come to you?
There was a gentleman called Sri Hari Marathe. He was a Bombayite, and he came to me and he said, I want Ravi Shankar ji to write music for Savitri, and I want to perform the whole Savitri with Ravi Shankar's music. Will your choir sing for it? And he gave me this book. He gave me this book in 92.
This very book?
This very book, in 92. And I picked it up and I started reading it, and from here, there, everywhere, and I said, how can any human being compose music for this work? And I said, nobody can do this. I felt there is nobody born who can write music for the whole of Savitri, which has this power. And poor man, he went to the ashram people, he went to other people to present this project, and nobody wanted to do it. And he didn't have the finance to do it. And it fell by the wayside. And this book remained with me. And every time I picked it up, I couldn't read past 2 pages. I just couldn't read it. I don't understand this. I don't know what it is. Then, continuing with Dhan's meditation, at the meditation, you must be knowing Dolly and Villu and all these people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we are the whole group there.
Yes.
They said there is a talk on Savitri by
Nat Carney?
Nat Kearney, Professor Nat Kearney. Would you like to come to it? We are all going. So I went with my book. And 3 days he was giving talks, which were being recorded. The first passage he took was Alive in a Dead Rotating Universe. The first passage. And he started talking about it and explaining it. And it was like a door opening. Something I couldn't read, something I couldn't do one page of. Whatever he told us, I read about it. Still not reading the whole thing, but whatever passages, I don't know what his theme was. Sometimes people choose passages of a different topic. And I don't remember what his topic was, but this was the first one. And every day we went, he read out many and he explained many. And from then on, I was hooked. That was, and I read it for the first time through, I've got all my dates here.
Ah.
First
From
reading.
cover to cover.
Yes, cover to cover, not over every day a little bit. On 20th December 1994. It was my first reading, and since then I've done 8 readings on my own. But sometimes there are devotees in Bombay who have a full reading Savitri for 24 hours and different people reading it, and I've attended a couple of them. And that's, of course, none of us is sitting there. We do our work, we do our thing, and then we go, and then another person. It's like a relay. And we read it through without stopping, no disturbance. Finish the Savitri. It takes about 24 hours. And we've done that also.
But what is so beautiful and so extraordinary to me is how you have memorized hundreds upon hundreds of lines. How has that come to you?
I just started with passages. And one day, and Dolly knows more than me. She knows much more than me. But as she says, if we don't do it continuously, we forget it.
Yes.
So I've done 1,000 and something lines.
I see.
1,300 something. She has 2,000 lines. But as she says, if we don't do that passage, it goes out. So you have to keep revising it every now and then.
Yes.
Yeah. So I started picking it up, and the first passage I learned was this, Alive in a Dead Rotating Universe. And after the meditation, usually Dolly used to recite a passage. So when I got this, I said, "Dhan, may I recite one?" And she said, "Of course, of course." So I recited this. And then on I made it every 15 days or something to do a new passage and go. And started with small passages, like at the head she stands,
Yes.
or strong forerunner, little passages. And slowly my ability to memorize, and I was much younger then, was broadened. And then sometimes I had 2 passages separately done, and now I put it together. So it becomes a long 86 lines. But I have to keep going to it. And sometimes little things like what you pointed out just now happen. That some word here, some
With all of us.
singular,
Yes, sure.
plural, something, it changes. Because repetition and...
What does Savitri mean to you? What does it hold for you in your sadhana?
strength, hope, determination, divinity. All these forces are there. All these forces are there. Faith, love. Everything beautiful is in that. Everything beautiful is in that. So, it's something we draw inspiration from, something we draw strength from, something we turn to when we are low.
Yes.
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 Also, I have great faith in my prayers, and I am a very great follower of my religion, just that I do my prayers also. There are some people who say if you have this, you don't have to do anything else. Maybe not. It suits them, but I haven't let go of my prayers for it. So, and I've got my music, which is also my prayer for God.
And could you tell us a bit about your music and your choir? How did it begin? And
I was 16 when I joined the choir, and with a very fine choral music conductor, very fine person, very great musician. And I was with him for 17 years, singing in the choir.
I see.
And he opened doors for me in music. Although I was doing piano with another teacher,
So you were trained in music.
Yes, I was piano and theory, music and harmony and all that.
Oh.
Yeah, all right. And singing came along, and I loved it because I was making music with so many people in a room. And very sadly, I let go of the piano. And my teacher and my mother were most upset, saying, "Why are you leaving this?" But I said, I get so much satisfaction singing with a whole group, making music together, sometimes with an orchestra. Otherwise, I would be spending 8 hours at the piano all alone to do my diplomas and all that. But of course, I was a good musician. And it helped me to do the both ways. Choir helped with the piano, piano helped with the choir. And I had absolutely no idea where it was leading me to. I didn't know anything about it. I was a little young thing, and believe me, at 16, in our time, children were very, very innocent. The 16-year-olds of today are so worldly and so free, and it's completely different. We were so disciplined and obedient, and it was
I know of what you're speaking.
Yes. And
but today we have the sun-eyed children.
So, anyway, so...
Yes, so you were 16 when you began.
Yeah, and I was with him for 17 years. By which time, he was a South Indian.
Oh.
His name was Dr. Paranjoti, Victor Paranjoti.
But trained in classical Western music.
Trained in classical Western music in India, and also I think he did a doctorate in music from... I'm not very sure. But he was a very dark South Indian, and he was... we were living in the British Raj, where if you were black, you were put down, and if you were white, you got a chance. So he was a fine organist, a very good tenor, and a lovely musician. And he was in Madras and Bangalore. And people who were much inferior to him, because they were white, were given chances. So he had a huge chip on his shoulder. It was a log on his shoulder, saying that I am black and I will show them. He had this, I will show them what an Indian can do. So when the choir was along the way, he got this thing, let me take my choir to Europe and show them what Indians can do. And at that time, there was a committee that ruled the day-to-day workings of the choir. And when he suggested it to them, they said, no, you can't go. What can you do? You can't go. We'll be booed off the stage. So he left that organization. He says, I'm walking out. If you don't have faith in me, I'm walking out. He walked out. And some of us walked out with him.
Oh.
And I said, come on, we'll sing with you, form another choir. So he started another choir. And he started with light music and small opera thing, which he wrote. And along the way, that was not satisfactory because we wanted to do big music, high music, a cappella music.
A cappella?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So he selected the choir and he said, if you want to come to Europe with me, it will be my choir, not the organization, not the committee. It's my choir. And he called himself the Paranjoti Choir, the Paranjoti Chorus, his name.
Okay.
And most of us joined him, and 3-4 of them said, oh, nothing doing. He'll get nothing but eggs thrown at him. I'm not coming for it. Once we had the faith, we worked with him. In 1961, we went to Europe.
Where did you perform?
All over Europe.
I see.
3 months. Starting with Florence at the Maggio Musicale Festival, first concert. And we didn't know where we would stand and that. Oh, but it was so thrilling. It was in an old palace. Then it was a whole evening of just our choir. And the ovation we got and the reviews we got. It was, what they say, mind-blowing. It was beautiful. And 3 months we toured.
Do you remember any of the music you did?
Oh yes, a lot
Yes?
of it. And he had written some music also.
I see.
Yes. Because
All a cappella?
all a cappella. All a cappella. From Palestrina, going into Karloff, going into...
Oh.
Yeah. Some Goan folk songs which he has said to me in a cappella. Because at that time they said, you must have something Indian. So he had composed and we got some... And it was a wonderful, wonderful tour. Wonderful tour. And there were some people from the old choir at that time who took bets with the people who believed in us. They said, oh, they are so happy we are going. They are not going to leave the Bombay airport. I take a bet with you. She says, yes, I take a bet with you. And when we went, she went to him and she took the money. And it was one. From then on, he had another tour also. And in 1967, he suddenly had a heart attack and he died. So, in his lifetime, he used to give me the choir to conduct because he was a music critic for the Times of India. And he would have to go to all concerts, even if it was a choir day. And then by 12 in the night, go to Times of India and give the review for printing. So every time he'd say, baby, take the choir, you do it, yes. But he never taught me.
Oh.
He never taught me conducting. And his conducting was also very personal. It was not the conducting technique that you can stand in front of a totally new choir and do. It's because we were doing it day in and day out with us. We knew all his gestures and all his demands.
Yes.
And all his gestures.
Even the slightest
Yes,
movement.
yes. His movements were very few.
Oh, I see.
Very few. And because, you don't have to, you're not doing a Shostakovich symphony, you don't have to do that.
Exactly.
So you're doing a choir, you are intimately talking to 30 people, 35 people with your hands.
Yes.
So he never taught me, but I used to just do it because my sense of pitch and my sense of rhythm and my sense of musicality was all there.
And you had the background in piano. And
That's what I'm saying,
yes,
that all my
yes.
training was
Yes,
there
your
behind
training
it.
was
You know?
there, right. Harmony and
So
counterpoint.
technique of conducting, I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
Technique of conducting, no, I was following what he was doing, which his technique was also not conducting technique. It was, as I said, very intimate technique.
But it worked for him.
Of course,
and
of
for
course.
your choir.
Yes,
of
of course.
Right.
Because we were just working with him.
And then how did you develop your own?
I learned, and then I took 2 master classes with a great conductor in Germany, Helmut Rilling.
Rilling?
Yeah.
I see.
2 master classes in Stuttgart. And that's where I really learned the technique of conducting. The musicality was there. And they were both Bach courses, Bach academies. And the Bach I learned to love from Paranjoti. Because otherwise, as music students, we were giving exams and we were learning Beethoven and Schubert and Mozart. And when it came with compulsory Bach, the teachers were not equipped to teach us. So everything was too dry, it's too uninteresting. Paranjoti showed me the beauty of Bach. He showed me the
What a
beauty of
gift.
Bach, yes.
What a gift.
And you see, so many people have opened doors for me in my life. So many people. Music, Paranjoti, Helmut Rilling, conducting.
Yes.
And so those were two master classes I took, in which were, it's like taking a starved person from famine and taking him to a buffet table stocked with beautiful food. We worked from 8:30 in the morning to 10 in the night
Oh my.
at this, every day for 15 days. And not tired at the end of it. Absolutely elated by that.
This is 92?
No, this
After
was,
he
no,
left
no,
or
no, no.
afterwards?
This Bach Academy was after I had taken various tours. Oh, and how did that come about? How many hours do you want me to talk?
We can go on.
You can delete things when you don't want it. I took my first tour of the choir in 1974. I took on in 1967 when he died. I took my first tour abroad in 74.
So we were at the point where James Burge
Yeah,
came to listen to your choir.
yes.
And what happened?
So he asked me, how good are you? I said, we've arranged to sing for you. You make your choice. I mean, you judge. And he heard us in a small church where we used to rehearse at this hall. And the padri was very wonderful Englishman. He was the last Englishman to be there, the Wesley Church. Normally we used to rehearse in the hall, but when I said that he's coming to hear us, he says, Coomi, you sing in the church, because the acoustics were nice, small church. So I said, oh, but Reverend, we are going to sing secular works, Karloff. And he says, don't worry, God will forgive us. You sing everything. So we had this audition with my husband and Jim Bjorge sitting there and one other person and Reverend Saunders. And we went through the whole repertoire that we had. And at the end, he stood up and he clapped and he says, I want you. I want this choir in New York for the festival. But it is a university choral festival. And you are not a university choir. You are what they say, a community chorus. So can we not get a Bombay University just for the name, that an umbrella, that Bombay University? I said, I don't know. He says, come, let's go to the Chancellor. I said, Chancellor is the governor, but the Vice Chancellor of the university we can go and meet. We met him, and the usual thing, oh no, that cannot, there's too much red tape and there are too many permissions. And, sorry, we can't do it. So he couldn't call us for the thing. And for the first time in the festival, they had been having it for many years. He called conductors who could not come with their choir, and I was invited as one of the 12.
To Lincoln Center.
What he called observer conductors. Festival of 15 days, 4 days in Washington, Kennedy Center, the rest at the Lincoln Center. And entirely at their cost, only the fare was ours. So
What an
I went there.
experience that must have been.
Beautiful experience. There were 16 choirs who came to sing, and there were 16 conductors with them. And the USA choir was made up of a quartet from 10 different choirs. So those 10 conductors had come. And it was not a competition, it was just a festival.
Yes.
And that's where I met the Polish choir, the Hungarian choir, all these people. Made my contacts there. And from that, my first tour was arranged, because Paranjoti's people didn't touch us.
Yeah.
His contacts didn't touch us.
Yeah.
With, of course, if a sister, who's 74 years old at that time, wants to say that she's a charlatan, she's a whatever it is.
But it didn't affect you there.
No, all that was
Right.
taken away from me.
Right.
These were all my contacts.
So where did you go?
All over Europe. my first tour, 74. And the person who really, really started me off on it was the conductor of the Polish choir. Beautiful, beautiful choir and a wonderful musician.
I've heard this choir.
Jan Shirotsky.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard this choir.
he was a wonderful human being and a wonderful musician. And he says, you come, 15 days, you come, we look after you. And that was the first competition we ever performed in. And we came out with the first prize.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So Paranjoti had never taken part in any competition, but everything rolled after that. And we meet a conductor of Spain over there, where he heard us and he says, next tour you come there. And then I went there and I got 2 prizes there. The whole thing started, the wheel started turning.
So let's fast forward to today. What is happening today?
46 years.
46 years.
I've been conducting, yes.
And today it goes on.
It goes on, yes. Only thing is now touring has become too exorbitantly expensive.
Recordings? Any recordings?
Few, but not, 1 or 2. What I want to send you, there is a composition only for 3 minutes, done by a South Indian, who I have rearranged it for my choir. It is called Asatoma Satgamaya. You know that?
No.
You know the words? Do you know the words?
Yes. Yes.
I got this in my hand, and it means where there is falsehood, let there be truth. Where there is Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, where there is darkness, let there be light. Where there is mortality, let there be immortality. These 3. And they are favorite lines of Sri Aurobindo, which I didn't know. I started doing this work, and I started beginning my not rehearsals, my performances with that work for 2 years. Then there was a little write-up in The Awakening about this, in the magazine, that these were Sri Aurobindo's favorite lines from an Upanishad. And I said, but I've been singing it for 2 years. I've opening my concerts for 2 years. And I wrote to Sushila Ben, and she published that letter in that thing. Yeah. And I was so thrilled that it has come and fallen in my lap. I've rearranged it for the choir, and now I'm using it, and I didn't know that it was Sri Aurobindo's favorite. It was so beautiful.
You scored for SATB?
Yeah, yeah. I'll record that and send it to you on a CD.
I'd love to have it.
Do you want the music?
Please.
I'll give it to you. I'll send that to you.
Surely.
I wanted to do it before coming here, but my husband's computer conked out at the wrong time, so I couldn't do it. But it's only 3 minutes. It's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. We start with 3 ohms. Then we hold the ohm chord, and 2 people are speaking. One says Asatoma Satgamaya, and he says, where there is darkness, let there be light. Or where there is, where there is falsehood, let there be truth. So the Sanskrit over that chord is being held. He says it in Sanskrit and he says it in English. And after that, Shanti, 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 and we start this Asatoma Satgamaya. Just 3 minutes, it's terribly powerful. And you will love it.
Wonderful.
You will love it, yeah. You also.
So
he can make a copy and send it to you.
So
all right.
We are now in 2014.
Yeah.
And tell me just a little bit about your sadhana, your experiences at this age. Nothing personal need be said, but just something of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, perhaps.
I know I have a lot of help. I have a tremendous help. I've never seen Mother. I hope someday before I die I see her. But all this is, I'm not so good. So I crave to hear Sri Aurobindo's voice. I crave to hear him speak it and his accent. Maybe I'll hear it up there.
Yes.
But
So will you.
I get tremendous help. And as she says, when you are disturbed, stay quiet and the thing will come to you. Very difficult because you are so agitated, something has gone wrong. But when I manage to stay quiet, it comes like a flash. Do this. And I'm always successful.
And the guidance
I
is
have-
always there.
Sorry?
The guidance is always there when you're quiet.
Always, and protection. In the last 2 years, I've fallen down 4 times. I've dislocated my elbow. I had a crack in it. And the surgeon said, well, I'm setting it. It's hairline crack. When I'm setting it, I have to use a lot of force. And if it opens out, I'll have to operate immediately. So everything was... And when I came out of it, he said, no. It was okay. I put it in plaster. You don't need it. I fell on my back and I thought, my God, will I get up and walk? And it was protected. I haven't broken. This little hairline crack is nothing the way I fell. My hand was like that. Yeah. So I have so much protection. But when I'm disturbed, it doesn't come. Because when you're disturbed, she can't reach us. But only when I start being calm and start opening I don't open myself, I just start being calm. And it comes like the message comes. Even for my music, I just have to tell her and talk to her. Every morning I talk to her. I open the day with just talking to her. And I'm going to do the Brahms Requiem in March. And we need 2 soloists for that, 1 soprano, 1 baritone. And we've been, there's a very nice young boy who's helping me because he's going to play one of the pianos. It's not the orchestral version because I don't have an orchestra at the moment.
You got 2
So
pianos.
it's 2 piano. So he's going to play 1 piano. And he's suddenly become someone who's come to help me. And
If I were 50 years younger, I'd be your baritone soloist.
how can we go back?
We must go forward.
I said,
Always
okay, it will
forward.
come. I said,
Yes.
I'm not actively, yes, I've sent out messages saying, send me recordings, this, that, and the other.
But you were rehearsing that when I came
Yes.
with Anaya.
Yes,
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I heard a bit of it.
And it's just at the very beginning stage, whereas there's not real music forming, it's just learning the notes and getting together. So I've been looking, but at the back of my mind, she will send them.
She will send them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one day before coming, I auditioned 2 people and they were brilliant.
Ah.
And we decided, one day before coming here.
See.
So this is the kind of thing I get tremendous help. Sometimes when I'm having my bath, I get a lot of ideas.
I see.
A lot of resolved things, Picking up, what shall I pick up? Who shall I call? Where will I perform? What do I do? It just comes.
And she's with you always. Yes. And you are so young. Thank you so much, Coomi.
God bless you. Thank you for coming into my
God
life.
bless you.
Really come, thank you. Now she sent you to me there at David Pettit. She sent me. Otherwise, where would we have met?
Yes.
I've come here so many times.
Yes.
I've never met you.
Yes.
And there, J.B. Pettit, we met.
She's
It's
the
all
last-
arranged.
Oh,
It's
yes.
all arranged.
All arranged.
So don't fight it. And don't put yourself,
Yes.
I must do this. It will be done. I'll get it. What I'm destined to do, I have to do.
Yes.
So maybe we'll do the Savitri If not,
Well,
somebody else will
that
do
will
it.
be my prayer. I planted the seed. That's my work. I'm a gardener. Okay.
you.
I'm asking
And thank you very
her
much.
to do all of Savitri, to come one time for 4 or 5 days and just the entire book.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
He said he's never heard it so beautiful as when he heard you.
Professor Natkani said the same. I didn't want to brag about it. One day we were at Dan's place meditating. He was there on a Saturday, and after the thing we always recite. And I recited this, even when we fail to look into our souls, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And it is dark, so he doesn't know who's saying it, At the end he says, he got up and says, who said this? I've never heard it like this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
It's a gift. It's a great
Yeah,
gift.
thank you.
It's a gift from Sri Aurobindo.
It is. And I always take his permission that please help me to say this passage, and please don't let me stumble, because I want to show the beauty of it. I want the people to realize how beautiful it is. I want to spread that. Because really, if Natkani hadn't spoken to me about this, I would never have picked up the book. Never have picked up the book. I couldn't understand it. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
2 years that book was with me. So it's all arranged for us.